if it wasn't for the fact that it was only 25,000 fans. If all them fans were there seeing all their faces look all
bro, they would have been leaving. They would have been leaving like in the fourth quarter. They'd have been gone.
But the game was pretty close up until really that last little taste.
Man, if you look at it, if we could have got the offense going in the first half, we'd have been up. We'd have scored 60, maybe 70 points on LSU. Real talk.
Yeah, we could have got it going, but I think, you got to realize that the offense couldn't get going either. So it just looked like, our players got to get used to the spread concept too, because they still shifted into that mindset of, are we live already? I'm taping all the good stuff.
Yeah, we live. We ready. Let's go.
So it's kind of like our team had to kind of get used to the spread too. And that's the thing. Not just the spread, the air raid. Everybody got to learn that there's a difference between the air raid and the spread option of what we previously have been doing. The offenses that we've had the last really forever have been predicated on the run game. This is truly predicated on the passing game, kind of similar to people at the end of the game, like we need to run the ball. Even I was like, I don't know. And I'm like, this is the thing too. People got to realize too, having a coach like Mike Leach, we have an identity. We know what our coach going to do. Like we've had all these, our last three coaches have been first-time head coaches who've been previously assistants at different levels. So you got to think like them guys are unproven. They didn't know what to do in situations. Leach knows what he's going to do in these situations. He's always done it that way. There's comfort in that. Sometimes what the person always does ain't the right thing, but you know what he's going to do. He's going to be aggressive. He's established that from jump now. He's going to be aggressive when we in tough situations. He's not going to sit there and be conservative. So I think, if anything, that's the changing of the guard. And just kind of leading off, like I was talking to a friend, oddly enough, Reggie, on the way back, and I was telling him how, kudos to our athletic department. We don't have this moment if it's not for our athletic department. How they handle first, getting rid of – they didn't handle, I think, the Moorhead firing the right way, but it was the right move. And then how they handled the Leach tweet foolishness and how all that kind of shook out. You got to think it's kind of similar to when we had Jeffrey Simmons and all those years ago, and we probably squandered his career at Mississippi State. But he could have been playing for Alabama or something if our athletic department didn't stick behind him. And then with Leach, if they had made a knee-jerk decision, decided to fire him amidst all this, the Black Lives Matter stuff and all that, we don't have our head coach right now. And at the same time, the Colin Hill thing, if they had handled that the wrong way, you'd have lost half the team. So you got to give kudos to John Cohen, Mark, and all those people. You got to give kudos to them because we don't have this moment if they don't handle those situations right. So those are the things people don't see as far as like they're looking at the 44-34, but you're not looking at the decisions that led up to this and even the COVID protocols, because you got to look at that. Will Rogers ended up getting COVID, but none of the other quarterbacks had COVID. You didn't see any other players. So obviously there's some protocols that are set in place that are good because it prevented us from having an outbreak and having to postpone the game. Just because we had one player had it, obviously the protocols were set in place. Now, I have heard that, like, it might be because a lot of equipment managers, it was an outbreak with the equipment managers based on what someone told me today. But at the same time, kudos to them. Sorry I took up so much time.
Right. So let's get into this game. I mean, like, we 3-0 for most of the game, and then we exploded. I mean, KJ Costello broke Dak Prescott's record for single game passing yards with 623 yards passing, and he had 5 total touchdowns. Jeremiah, talk about what you think about Costello's performance and how he was able to keep us in the game even when we had those costly turnovers.
He took us out the game, but so that's kind of the thing. I really like his performance. I like his bravado. I mean, obviously he's a guy that's willing to take a shot. I feel he made a few throws he should have made. And sometimes you can be a little too aggressive. I think in an offense like this, you don't really have to force anything. You can take what the defense gives you. But I like the confidence that he showed. I like the fact that he is our quarterback. In an offense like this, you're going to have opportunities to have these big games like this. Now, this is probably one of the best games in Mississippi State history, obviously, from a throwing standpoint. But you got to look at the fact we are in an air raid. This can happen, even though this is historic. I like what he brings to the table. He's obviously a legit first-round draft pick. He has the arm talent. I think he holds on to the ball too long. He got to learn how to get rid of that ball. You got to start holding to the side. He got a lot of little things that he needs to clean up. But considering that he had all those little things that he needs to correct, throwing for 600 yards with those things. I mean, that's amazing. So I think it's a great first performance, a great way to kind of start your own, maybe. Is Amy engaging in the overhype? Maybe start a Heisman campaign. So
all right.
So here's the thing. Ain't nobody let me talk yet. Now I'm gonna
go ahead, Arthur.
And you gonna listen. All right. So, I've been very critical of Mike Leach and the air raid and all of that stuff leading up to this point. And I'm here to tell y'all that I have the cajones to tell you that this means absolutely nothing to me because LSU look absolute, pure, unadulterated trash. This game told me nothing because LSU looked really, really, really bad. Now, I will say this. Our offense looked good. KJ Costello looks like he can make all the throws. He kind of muddled the line toward the end, like Kelvin Candy said in Django. He muddled the line at the end. But he was making all the throws. He came back with the poise. And, I mean, Osiris Mitchell, he's out of the trash bin, okay? Javonte
hey, we got a couple of those.
Is firmly still in the trash bin, okay?
Because of that drop pass?
Man, I was watching it. I was like, what the bleep is that?
But he still had 6 catches for 122 yards, though. So, but
whatever.
There was a potential touchdown that he did drop.
Whatever. So, no Kaepernick. I also wanted to say that I started watching the game late because South Jackson Walmart line was just ridiculously long.
Even in the time of COVID?
Yeah. Second thing is that I fell asleep toward halftime, so I didn't see one of the touchdowns. And then I got back late in the second half because I had to take somebody's car back. So, yeah, I was kind of in and out of whatnot. I missed the Kylan Hill thingy thing. The rushing yards, I had that about right on the pick'em, right? Let me plug the pick'em, okay? Make sure that y'all participate in pick'em. Okay? I said that we were gonna lose. Oops. I should have known it because I had a feeling that LSU was gonna be trash. Kylan Hill's receiving yards. Wow, that was a lot of receiving yards. And when he ran, he looked, pretty good.
Still bouncing it outside too much.
Yeah, that's the thing. But one thing that I noticed is that he wanted that smoke. Like that, it was a run that he made toward the end of the fourth quarter, and he initiated the contact. He sought out the contact, and that was pretty freaking cool. But the receivers, the receivers look good. They made some, especially Osiris Mitchell. He made some crazy catches.
And AJ, let's remind people, these dudes were on the team last year. Just saying. Other than Tyrell Shavers.
Yeah, I mean
the team.
Yeah, Austin Williams, I think that he could play last year. The thing with Osiris is that he would always catch those circus catches, and then he would drop the simple catches. That was always weird. And him and Tommy Stevens, I felt as though had a really good chemistry. But yeah, I feel I'm not ready to say that the air raid, whatever, because like I say, once we get a win against, like, let's say, if we win against
Alabama,
Bama, yeah, I feel better about it because I still feel as though that there is an element of these people don't know how to defend it quite yet. So this year we might catch some people off guard. It'll, take some time to really establish it, but it looked good today. Today is a high point. Wait a second. Today is a high point for Mississippi State athletics. In the words of Nicki Minaj, if I could have this moment for life, okay?
Well, if I can pick out back at what you're saying, kind of in reverse of what you're saying, it's a high point, but this even feels different even than that year that we, we went number one in the nation, won all those games in a row. Because you got to think the teams we did beat LSU first, beat A&M, but they're not real. Auburn, they're not real. And of course, being on faltering against Alabama. What I like is just the aggression at the end of the game. I never felt like they were the more conditioned team. Because I told them, like, Mississippi State has always kind of had that bridesmaid thing to them. We get to this national championship in baseball, lose. Get to the national championship in women's basketball, lose. Like, I ain't saying Mike Leach like that, like, legendary coach, but he might be what we need. Somebody can come in and be like, we're just going to be aggressive. He don't know any other way. I even told, go ahead.
I felt comfortable with him today. He seemed to be a calming force in the midst of the storm. He didn't look like he was panicking or anything. Like you said, it was like the air about the team was different because we had a guy with the pedigree, a guy that people knew what he was doing. Right now, I got to admit, it does feel like a fit. However, toward the end, the lack of a running game outside.
Well, and here's the thing. We were up by 10. Like, I know Reggie had texted and said, like, man, Leach shouldn't be calling on deep balls. I'm like, no, he shouldn't have thrown the pass. There's a difference. So I'm sure there's other plays he could have checked down to. Because we have to adjust to the fact it's two things we have to adjust to. One, we're not going to run the ball like that. Two, we got to adjust to having a pocket pass. Because there was a couple plays. I was like, what if you just didn't run the ball? Like, I'm so used to our quarterbacks just taking off that I'm not used to a guy forcing himself to stay in the pocket, although he did it a little bit too much.
Right.
Like, I'm not used to not having the quarterback run when they get in a little bit of trouble. Because there was a couple plays he should have took off, but I'm so used to quarterbacks doing it. So I'm really going to have to adjust myself on that one because I'm so used to them doing that when they get in trouble.
Yeah, I don't really know what to make of anything, but I will say that the offense looked – it was like – I will compare it to the 2014 season in this respect. The whole thing felt surreal because, like, seeing a 1 beside Mississippi State name, you only used to seeing that in NCAA football.
Yeah, exactly. 600 yards.
Yeah,
really, dude?
Seeing us throw the ball around so much, it felt surreal. Seeing a quarterback throw the ball and, like, it wasn't – we had Omar on the show. I love Omar. Omar's a friend of mine. But, when he would throw the ball, it looked wrong. Or, sometimes when Dak threw the ball.
Same to you, sir.
I think everything is kind of like, it just looks smooth. It just like we look like the aggressor in the game. Like our receivers catching balls over the top of LSU DBs, and it looked easy. Like they getting a couple steps on guys. Tyrell Shavers, you're like, man, how did Alabama let him go?
Because they had an abundance of riches at wide receiver. So, hey.
We'll find out.
Oh, by the way, Miles Brennan looked like trash.
Yeah, and that was the first thing I said. I told somebody at the watch party in the second quarter, I was like, LSU don't have a quarterback. That's one of our advantages.
Whoa. You went to a watch party?
Yes.
Yes, he did.
There social distancing protocols in place?
Yeah, they even had sanitizer and everything. It was awesome.
Did you wear a mask?
Yes, I did all of that. I actually wasn't even gonna go, and then I thought
you worried about your close personal friend getting COVID?
I really am, you know what I'm saying? Because if anything unfortunate were to happen to Jeremiah G. Willikers, I don't know what I would do.
Yeah, I used a lot of sanitizer, made sure we social distance, other than when we were jumping up and down. The game was so intense toward the end. Everybody was standing up. I'm like, why am I standing up like we had an actual game? Like folks were standing. It's like, why are we standing? We shouldn't be standing right now. We're like at a watch party, but I don't know. It was awesome being able to ring the cowbells because I think it was on the 3rd and 9 when we scored the touchdown. Everybody was like, when it's 3rd and 8, when we come back on, everybody better be ringing their cowbells. And I think that's actually the first time I've ever rung a cowbell, if I'm not mistaken.
Do you even have a cowbell, Jeremy?
Huh?
Do you even have a cowbell?
You forgot I don't really care for the cowbell myself, but I still
have bad memories from Bulldog fan.
I still have. Huh?
How are you gonna be a graduate and a Bulldog fan and not care for the cowbell?
Because I don't. I still remember my freshman year how those certain guys, I'm not gonna say what persuasion they were, used to come back in at 3 o'clock in the morning ringing freaking cowbells. So ever since then, I don't care for them.
Okay, so let's get back on the game. Okay, so they go off the cowbell. So one of the biggest question marks heading into this game was our defense. Yes, we did give up 34 points to LSU. While this wasn't last year's Tigers team, they were still very talented, but our defense had 7 sacks. When was the last time our defense had 7 sacks to go along with 2 picks? I mean,
probably 2018.
7 sacks in one game.
They probably got something close to it. Like, got this
so,
the number one defense in the country. I'm pretty sure
there's a Pornhub / Brazzers meme to be made of this, but whatever. That ain't for y'all to know. The fans get it.
Right. So, and then we did have an injury. Martin Emerson did go down. So, for the rest of the game, we were with Furs and Forbes at the corner, and both of those young men had interceptions. Furs in his first start, Forbes in his first ever game. So, this secondary is going to have to really grow up because Terrence Marshall really did eat us alive, but we were able to, survive him having a big game. Eric Gilbert also had a pretty good game, but like our pass rush and our ability to not LSU dominate in the rush game really helped us secure this victory because Orgeron knew they couldn't really run the ball on us. So they knew they had to pass it.
Yeah, that ain't even attempted. I think I commented about that they ain't really even trying to run the ball. I mean, we pretty much were doing the same thing, except we were better at it.
LSU without a run game, that's bizarre.
Oh, it's not that they don't have a running game. Is that's our strength. Our front seven, they probably kind of determined. They knew our cornerbacks and secondary was trash, so that's what they were going to try to attack. But I will give credit to our corners. They held serve. What they really attacked, you saw several times they attacked Fred Peters and our, up the middle because, our safeties aren't really equipped to really handle Terrence Marshall, these 5-star caliber guys. And this is going to be the most talented group of receivers, not just, speed, size. I mean, Eric Gilbert, T-Bob was saying they think he's going to be the best tight end ever. So this is the most elite group we're going to face all year. Other than maybe Alabama, we're not going to face a team with this caliber of a receiving core the rest of the year. Right, because
Texas
they will have time
receivers have opted out, so we don't have to worry about them.
Right. So I really like what I saw from our defense tonight. They did what they needed to do. I think I like the front seven. Shout out to my boy Chaney. We had to show him love because he's been working with the D-line. So he was on the field coaching those boys. So I had to give him a lot of credit. He was telling us that they wanted to kind of, punk out a little bit at the end, but he kind of had to get them right. So, you know what I'm saying? So shout out to him and the job he's doing, kind of assistant teaching the D-line from his role. So shout out to Chaney on that. And because I told him, like, man, this unit look a little different. Like, so, Chaney, hopefully they can hold on to him after this season because he's doing an excellent job in that role.
Let's hope he likes to stay home because this is his college football home. And I could really see him becoming a stalwart on staff and assisting and bringing in the next great Bulldog defensive player.
Well, I've already told people he needs to be our coach and waiting. I ain't saying he needs to be like Dion getting a job that quick, but, Leach, I think if this first game is any indication, and as AJ says, a little early, so I wouldn't, put the cart before the horse, but at the same time, I like the Leach era started off the right way. People said air raid not going to work, and I kept saying that, no, he kind of has the right tools, and here's the thing, too. It's not that he has the right tools to start his offense. He has the right thing that makes up for his deficiencies. He's never really had a great running game. We already have some running backs on the roster. We already have a talented defensive team. Yes, we need to get a little stronger in the back end, but at the same time, he already has some tools that enables him to potentially start off with a pretty good run at Mississippi State. So it will make up for the areas where he's not strong. And I think he can have a good 4 or 5 year run, then he can hand over the team to Chaney. And I'm promoting it. I'm promoting that for the next couple of years. Chaney to be our coach and waiting.
I would like to see that happen, but I mean, Chaney's probably not going to want to run the air raid, so that's going to change. So
how do you figure that? Chaney's a defensive guy. And somebody that's known him for years, and they say he's a close personal friend in that way. I'm just saying, well, he is, but at the same time, Chaney's about winning games. So we'll have to make this about Chaney, but at the same time, I don't think he'll have a problem with that. If this being successful, he's about winning games, so he won't care about that. And then honestly, I don't know if you want to run a system like that. Leach is the mastermind of air raid. So, would it be as effective with another person running? Because at the end of the day, it comes down to execution of what you're doing. And just going to what people are talking about with the air raid, any system can work if you have the talent. I mean, Georgia Tech ran the freaking wishbone, flexbone for freaking
triple option.
It was flexbone. That was some 1970s what people ran when I was potentially in high school. People stopped running that when I was in high school. So, I mean, but they won. If you had the right personnel, you can run any system. You forget Nebraska was successful up until really maybe the late 90s running wishbone. Now, they kind of got away from that. They had to get away from that. But at the same time, they were successful a long time running wishbone up into the 90s. So, and then now people running Wildcat, and they, got more creative with it and diverse with it. But people running Wildcat, that's the single weave. So if you have the right type personnel, you can run any system. So with the air raid, Leach is getting started out with a first-round quarterback. And then, after this year, he'll probably hand off the keys to Will Rogers. We had to come in. Osiris is going after this year. Peyton is probably going. And who knows if Shavers has a big year, he might be going too. Hopefully he stays another year. So he's going to have to reload there. But at the same time, he has more talent than he had at Texas Tech or a Washington State. I'll say that much.
All right. Also, defensively, I want to give a shout-out to Sean Preston Jr. He led the team in tackles with 11 coming off the bench. Errol Thompson and Aaron Brule were behind him with 10 tackles and a sack each to lead the defense. I don't think we really gave our defense a benefit of the doubt because we were all critical of Kraft. Kraft had about 4 tackles, but he stuck his nose in there. He showed he could be physical. So while he received a lot of criticism because no one knew who he was, I think he had a pretty good game.
Well, thinking about a guy like a Kraft, I don't know much about him or anything like that, but I'm going to assume, for one, as Reggie said, if a guy like that wins out a job like that, probably means he earned it. 2, a guy like that could be like a Gabe O'Neal or some of the guys we've had in the past. They may not be the most talented guy, but he may be putting all those other guys in the right positions. So right. There's a reason. None of our guys were out of position. So say that one play where Fred Peters, Terrence Marshall caught a touchdown or it was another like a post across the middle. That's just speed. You can't do nothing about that. You talking putting a safety against an elite receiver. That elite receiver, 6'4" elite receiver's gonna win every time. That's a talent issue, and a matchup issue. A safety can't guard a guy like that. There's very few safeties that can match up with players like that, no matter how talented they are. There's a reason they play in safety. But other than that, I feel like guys were never out of position throughout the game. You never saw them catch balls, and you're like, man, they just. There's plenty of times we used to watch over the past couple of years where our guys would get beaten. You're like, man, what were you? What's going on? It was nothing like that going on. A lot of the plays, like even you've got to get. You talking about actually LSU scoring? They scored 1 on a pick 6. 1 was kind of a luck play where the quarterback kind of just threw the ball up.
Yeah, average give with just 6'5". He's gonna out jump everybody.
And it was 2 guys. One guy covering 2. So them 2 kind of luck touchdowns. And then a couple of those were set up by like our Costello at the end of the game. So it's really like they really didn't line up and just move the ball on us. We did. We didn't even attempt to return kicks tonight. I don't know what's up with that. But we didn't
every kick was in the end zone though. So, LSU, I only think we only tried to return 1 kick. So,
Shout out to Brandon Ruiz too. I think he made 3 kicks.
Oh yeah.
So shout out to him as well. Having a kicker that's just gonna be that automatic, especially from distance. We need guys like that. We got a team.
All right, I'm tired of listening to y'all talk. Okay. We gave all these superlatives out. This person is not a wide receiver, but they definitely belong in the trash bin. Whoever that was playing center.
Oh, Cole Smith.
Yeah. It looked like did they take him out of the game or did he just get his life together?
No, he settled down. Cole Smith, his dad was a all SEC offensive lineman at Mississippi State. And you gotta realize this is a young man who played his freshman year at LSU. So maybe he had a little butterflies coming back in the Tiger Stadium, but he was able to settle down. Because when he snapped the ball and hit KJ Costello in the face with it, that just gave LSU a touchdown.
Bro.
Yeah, I think you got to think the level of trash that them dudes probably was talking. They probably like, hey, bro, man, you got to go to Mississippi State. Oh, trash, Mississippi State, bro. Like you couldn't.
But he got the last laugh though.
He who laughs last best.
That's correct.
I'm sure they was talking some mad level trash. These dudes he went against every day. They probably talking mad trash. So he probably just took a while to kind of like block it out.
Right. And I want to give a shout out to some young man that I know who plays at LSU, Damone Clark. Had a pretty good game today. Unfortunately, Damone, you and your Tigers took the loss. But I'm definitely proud of the way you played today. The young man that I coached in the youth league, and I also Tyrion Davis-Price.
Man, you on that acting like KJ, man, you glad a fellow Mississippian did well. I don't care about them dudes. They go to LSU. I get what you're saying. I'm just messing.
Hey, I coach these young men. I mentor these young men. And, I'm glad they had a game today where they made it through without any injury. So kudos to those young men.
Hail State.
Speaking of Mississippians who are doing really well, Jerry Jones and the Florida State Seminoles are having a very interesting game versus the Miami Hurricanes right now.
Who's winning?
Not Florida State.
Good.
I'll say this: Dion might only spend one season at Jackson State. I'll say that much.
Oh, okay.
Speaking of, since we're on Mississippi colleges or Mississippi players, did you see the butt whooping that the Rebels got today?
Oh yeah. Now I was worried for a few seconds, but yeah. Anytime Mississippi State won, Ole Miss lost. That means that everything is right in the world. Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, do you know some Ole Miss fans were actually taking pictures of us celebrating and stuff and doing stuff throughout the game while we're at the watch party?
Oh, okay.
I was like, y'all trying to clown on us. Y'all having trouble. We just beat the national champion, but y'all, having a little trouble with Florida and damn mother.
And I mean, they made Kyle Trask look like a first-round draft pick. He threw for 6 touchdowns. Now, granted, Elijah Moore had over 200 yards receiving, but still.
Let it say the Leach era started a lot better than the Lane Kiffin era.
Yeah, I found a nice meme, a GIF, with a train crossing the train track, following the train tracks, and falling into a muddy hole. That's what this Ole Miss game looked like. So
they looked it good though. That's a step in the right direction.
Yeah, right.
Ice and blue uniforms, man.
I mean, Arthur, you are part rebel, so I mean.
Now we could get on you.
Wait. At least
get on me.
Wait. At least I'm actually part Bulldog though.
Hey, I'm part Bulldog, bro.
Yeah,
my fandom of
Mississippi Bulldog in spirit, okay?
Bro, I've probably been a Bulldog fan longer than you've been alive, homie. Just because I ain't got no Bulldog hours,
Like,
I ain't gonna lie, you opened the door, he just ran through it.
That's cool. I mean, you should have seen this coming. Wait a second.
I'm cool with it. Don't bother me, homie.
Come on, Trap.
So just because I don't have any Bulldog hours, and that don't stop me nothing about my fandom, homie.
You opened the door though.
I'm cool with the door being open. It's cool. That don't bother me.
This right here, I got it written in blood, homie. I got it written in blood, homie.
Here's mine.
Exactly.
Right there. You're my short.
Jeremiah LeSean Short.
It's LeSean, but you
Stop playing with me. Stop playing with me. Go focus on. How about you go focus on being part Delta Devil and focus on their season? Oh, they don't have a season. I guess that means you need to shut the fuck up. Oh goodness.
He had to get you, bro.
We love you, Derek. Matter of fact, what's your source on me being part rebel?
You.
Yeah, I went to Ole Miss grad school. What of it? I cheered against them the whole time. It was great.
I was just talking to somebody tonight about how, they have the medical school and the law school. So a lot of people there's a lot of Bulldogs who went there for law school or medical school. So it's not too crazy.
Man, them folks gave me a full ride grad assistantship. I don't know what y'all expected me to do.
Man, they definitely want to get those token minorities in there.
Oh, yeah. It was the graduate school was historically black because all the blacks was history. Like, I was like the only ninja in there. Everybody else, like, they was African or something like that. I was the only real ninja there. But such is life.
So, Derek, tell us, what did you glean from like the post-game press conferences, everybody and stuff like that? What are some things you got? Any nuggets for us?
Derek and turned his camera off and stuff. I don't know if he there. He might be in his car.
I'm here, but I put the papers in my bag. Let me see if I can get them right quick. Hold on.
Man, don't die.
That might be late. Did you like shave or something? Shave your.
Oh, they're showing the highlights on ES. Oh well, they're showing the highlights on ABC right now.
And also, guys, how sweet is it? Well, Derek, you were at the game, so you couldn't see the actual look on everybody's face. AJ, how sweet was it to see that look on LSU fans' faces?
Let me tell you
that
something.
I'm gonna cry when I get in the car. Look.
Let me tell you something about LSU fans. First of all, I know plenty of LSU fans. You know how many people I know actually went to LSU? Zero.
I only know a couple.
Of the LSU fans I know, zero actually went to LSU. Now I know that what his name? Derek. Derek, you look like this one YouTuber.
Oh boy.
I can't remember his name. He's like the black anime nerd, something like that. I don't know. You remind me of that guy so much.
Well, thank you, sir. All right. Okay, so I have some quotes from KJ Costello. He said he thought his debut was really good. He took responsibility for the turnovers. He's glad about the start. As far as breaking Dak's record, he didn't expect to break the record, but he's glad he did. As far as where his performance ranks in all-time performances, it's really high when you're playing against a team like LSU, even though they were missing Derek Stingley Jr. I really don't feel like he would have had much of an impact on our passing game because we threw the ball everywhere. So, yes.
That's kept.
Yes, his presence was missed, but we attacked all over the field, and he just
that's kept.
I'm just glad I got a chance to witness it because y'all know I live down here. And also my good friend T-Bob, those of you listen to the show, he now has to sing the Hell State Fight song live on there on ESPN Radio. So make sure y'all tune in to that. You can follow Off the Bench on Facebook, 104.5 ESPN Radio here, and tune in to the show. They air the show from 7 to 10. I don't necessarily know when he's going to sing it, but their shows are recorded. So definitely when he does, I'm going to share it. So I think that's going to be awesome.
Eat a corn dog too.
What's that?
You should have had him eat a corn dog too. LSU fans smell like corn dogs. I don't know if everybody does that, but at Ole Miss, when I was at Ole Miss, that was a thing. Is that they were always talking about LSU and corn dogs. And
I think one reason why they say that is because at most LSU football games when they tailgate, they're always playing the game cornhole. I mean, everywhere along the strip when you're walking in the Tiger Stadium, it's cornhole games going on everywhere. So I don't know if that's a joke from Ole Miss fans about the cornhole game, but I'm around a lot of LSU people and they don't smell like corn dogs to me.
Also Oklahoma, sorry, I wanted to point that out.
Oh yeah, they lost to Kansas State.
I ain't gonna lie, man. I was telling a guy I was like, man, it would be just our luck. The one year we decide we want to be dominant in our SEC schedule, and then it's the year of COVID, not a full season. Although I feel like this season is actually more challenging. I'll take a 10-game SEC schedule record and winning every game over, a 12-0 season where you play 4 gimme games. So, I'll take it. So, but we got to really start projecting right now. We got probably 3 games where we're probably going to win just based off the first game performance. Alabama, you even keep it close with Alabama. We got to wait to see. It depends on what happens with Georgia and if J.C. Daniels can get healthy. But I don't know. We probably can start projecting to have a big year. We can uptick from 6-4 to maybe 8-2 or 9-1.
Well, we're definitely going to beat the hell out of Missouri because Alabama's beating them 35-6.
Yeah, that Arkansas game, that's going to be pain. We might well just start seeing which backup's going to get the most points. We might need to do a pick 'em to see which position group going.
You know what? we sound really arrogant right now. I don't like this. We always how we gonna beat the crap here, everybody.
I think it's fair to say we're gonna smash Arkansas. I think that's fair.
I say we starting to sound like some LSU fans. By the way, while I'm at it, I want to talk about how low class LSU fans are. LSU fans never act like they have been there before. Like LSU fans are Starkville High and Meridian fans of college football. Like they always just like real over the top and just bad sportsmanship, and it's always horrible. Like I'm like, okay, we get it. Y'all a good program. That's good. But they always just like over the top. And also, LSU band want to be a SWAC band so bad that they I'm like, what is this? Bring it on. Are y'all going to North Compton and stealing the Clovers cheers and they stuff? I'm like, what are y'all going to Southern practices and filming it and going back and playing their cadences and the songs that they play? I'm like, y'all want to be a SWAC band so bad. Whatever, maybe that's just me. I thought I'm like, what SEC band is playing Talking Out the Side of Your Neck? Not everybody doing it. I'm like, what else? What
well,
else?
I guess the Tigerland band wants to try to diversify. I mean, but they definitely do not play neck like an HBCU.
Exactly.
See, I don't even know what that is.
What the freak is that? Oh, somebody.
But just to recap other SEC scores, like I said, Alabama's right now is beating Missouri 35-6 in the third quarter. Texas A&M is beating Vandy 14-5 with 5 minutes and 20 seconds left in the third quarter. Tennessee is leading South Carolina 21-14 in the third quarter. Georgia got right and blew out Arkansas 37-10. Of course, those Ole Miss Rebels lost to Florida 51-35. Auburn defeated Kentucky 29-13. And of course, in the upset of week one, well, I guess you can say, is our upset better than Oklahoma losing to Kansas State?
Nah, Kansas State lost to freaking Arkansas State, so that's a bigger one. We also figured that LSU was fake news. But everybody thought that Oklahoma was for real. Wait, why am I talking to myself?
I'm here. I'm just to yourself. I'm here. You're not gonna see me if I'm looking at the ESPN website for the scores, sir.
Oh, okay. Man, don't be.
So, I mean, it was awesome just to be here and witness this. I was sitting next to the Mississippi State video guys, and I was like, man, pinch me and make sure I'm not dreaming because, like, I guess the way Mike Leach, I mean, I'm a fan of his. I like how he runs his offense. But I'm like this, man, when you get a lead, man, you run the ball. I'm guessing we're going to have to get used to him not doing that. That he's going to take the risk. He's going to try to, I guess you can say, go for the juggler, so to speak. So I think it's going to bode well for our I guess our psyche because we've never really had that here. Because we all know Dan Mullen would definitely take his foot off the gas when he had a lead. But Mike Lee, there is no taking the foot off the gas.
Well, like I said, every coach we've had pretty much historically has been conservative. Every coach we've had.
John Cohen wanted me to tell you gentlemen hello. I ran into him tonight. He wanted me to tell you hello and that he was happy for the win and maybe he's gonna come on the show again because
next time you see him, tell him I still think it was embarrassing the way he fired Coach Moria, but thanks for doing it.
So I mean it's just an amazing night for us as Bulldogs and Bulldog fans.
All right, yeah.
They made us all a lot because none of us picked us to win this game.
Oh yeah, well, I'm gonna go ahead and put this reaction show out of his misery because we saw him belabor the point. So
yeah, let's look out for maybe do a full recap when we get a chance to review the stats or rewatch the game, whatever.
Yeah,
we'll do that then.
Monday or Tuesday or something like that. Because I'm
Yeah, y'all know
Tigers
Thursday we
tomorrow.
we have the Arkansas beat writer coming on.
Who we play next week anyway?
Arkansas. So on Wednesday at 7, the Arkansas beat writer is gonna be a guest to preview the Arkansas game. So we'll be welcoming him. I'm not gonna bet him nothing though, but I bet T-Bob because he's my friend. So.
Well, I'm gonna eat a pig or something like that when he comes on.
All right. So the end. Why don't we all do a Hail State?
Count it down.
3.
Wait, where's my bell? Where the bell? Ah, there we go. Okay. All right. 3, 2, 1.
Hail State.